Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your kind attention, please? We are about to begin the workshop. Before we get started, I would like to kindly remind all of the participants to mute your microphone to avoid interruption. You are encouraged to open your camera throughout the session, but it is not compulsory. We also hope that you are able to attend both sessions and complete this workshop from the beginning until the end. Thank you for your cooperation. Hello? Can everyone hear me? Hello? Can everyone hear me? Okay.
Yes.
So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our second online workshop entitled How to Moot Legal Research and Memorial Submission. My name is Angelica Juin Anakpai. I am the first year law student from UniSZA and I will be your MC for today's workshop. On behalf of the ILSA UniSZA committees, I would like to welcome all of you and we appreciate your time and effort to join us today despite the holiday season. May I know how everyone is doing right now? Tell us what you feel in the chat box. You can do any reaction maybe. Have you had your breakfast? Sudah makan kau semua?
Belum.
Okay, so in our session today, there will be two honorable speakers, which are Dr. Farha binti Abdullah for the legal research segment and Muhammad Akmal Amaluddin for the memorial submission. So while waiting for our first speaker to arrive, let me briefly introduce you to our first speaker, Dr. Farha binti Abdullah. So a brief biodata. So Dr. Farha Abdullah is a senior law lecturer at the Center of Foundation Studies in UITM, University Technology Mara, Selangor, Dengkil campus. So previously, she was practicing under Messrs. Azra Saleh and Corporation in Kuala Lumpur. Her areas of research include contract law, consumer protection law, legal education and legal skills, Islamic estate, takaful, e-commerce and competition law. Currently, she is an Islamic estate planner as well as Shari'i Council of Selangor and Terengganu and she had been there since 2003. Dear participants, we are still currently waiting for our first speaker to enter the room. We will begin once she enters our Microsoft team. Thank you so much for your patience. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Farha is here. Welcome to the workshop, Doctor.
Hi, welcome. Assalamualaikum. Very good morning. How's everyone? How khabar? Semua sihat? Can you hear my voice?
Yes, Doctor, we can hear your voice.
Yes.
Hmm. All right. So, can we proceed now? We already 9:31. Are you expecting anything?
No, Doctor, we are still we are waiting for you. You can
All right.
begin now.
Thank you. Yeah, sure. So I was thank you for having me. You all. Thank you so much. And then how to make legal research and memory submissions. My first lot is on how to conduct legal research, right? So allow me to share my screen. Hold on. If my voice is not clear and my audio, especially my audio, and please unmute and let me know, right? Because for your information, I'm still on Raya holiday. This is Shawwal, so Selamat Hari Raya Mak Zai Batin to all of you. So you are still. Where are you? Can you put in the chat? Are you in the campus, or are you at home? Can you please put in the chat so we could have interactions? So to put in you post in the chat while I'm sharing my screen of my slides. And then, oh my goodness. No. What's on the screen? Is my slide appear now? Is it yes or no?
Yes, Doctor. We can see your slide now. In PDF, right?
Yes, PDF. Yeah, sure. So we need to utilize all the time because the times given to me is only 1 hour, 9:30 until 10:30. Thank God I managed to enter before 9:30. For your information, I'm in Terengganu. I'm in Terengganu. I have a balik raya kampung from Kelantan to Terengganu, and then haven't returned back home yet in KL. So I wish you Selamat Hari Raya, Mak Azai Batin. And then I would like to seek a humble apology if my my pronunciation is not clear at this moment because I'm having a mouth ulcer. A mouth ulcer. It's very hot weather in Kelantan few days ago. So I have a mouth ulcer. So I already have with me my my treatments oral 8 oral 8, right? Okay, so I hope please do interact with me, give like emoticon so that it will boost my spirit to share with you on how to conduct legal research. And of course there will be another speaker to share with you on how to do a memorial submissions, right? Okay, so I think your MC already briefed to me. I have introduced me just now, isn't it? Am I right?
Yes, I already did.
All right. So for your information, I came from practicing background. I was a corporate lawyer before I joined UiTM as a legal academia for the past 20 years. 20 since 2003. It's almost like 21 years, right? Okay. So you guys, where you were born actually? You were born in 2004, isn't it? Or 2003? Angelica,
I'm 2003.
2003.
Yes,
When you were born, I'm actually already started joining your ITM as a legal academia, right? Okay. So may I know, wait, before I proceed, how many of the participants so far? Is it 40 counting? 40 and still counting.
right now there's 36, including doctor, for around 35.
35. So may I know the audience mostly UniSZA international law students, right? Who are joining the competition, mooting competitions, who are here. And is there any international students here from Indonesia? because you're open to international students, isn't it, to join your international mooting. I think this is really good. I give a credit to ILSA, UniSZA, right, for having this very grand competition, international competitions. All right. So without further ado, because I have only 1 hour, as you know that to conduct legal research is really deep. It needs more than few hours. It need like 1/2 day, 1 day just for legal research, because and after that it's a long process, my dear. To master legal research is a long process over the years. You need to be passion and passionate. Passion and passionate. 2P. 2P, right? So please take notes, because some of my sharing session for today is only for you guys. I take my time from my family time just to be with you guys, and I know that we need to sacrifice in our life to give benefit to to everyone, to anyone, right? So here, please stop me if you have any questions, but we do have like Q&A sessions, right? As I was being informed by Angelica, thank you Angelica, one of the organizing committee, you are among you guys, you are from year 1 and year 2, isn't it? Law students, huh? So some of you have a little background, a little basic about legal research, especially I look at a glance the mooting question. It consists of 27 pages. I received it like a couple of weeks or days just before Raya. So I just skim it. Yeah. So you have to, as you are joining the competitions, you have the power to read the important materials, the keywords, the facts in the what we call it, the problem modes, right here. Yes, International Courts of Justice case, nuclear hypersonic nuclear missiles. Okay, all this. So you have to read this. It consists of 27 pages, right? Including the cover. But never mind. So all this you have to go through, discuss in team. You have to work in team. Legal research is actually you have to work in team. Okay, coming back to my introduction, is actually that you are in year 1 until year 3, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe some of you have already learned about international law. There are 2 types of international law. We have private international law and we have public international law. So in regards to your moots problem, I consider it as a public international law, right? Because it's relating to nuclear missiles, okay, hypersonic nuclear missiles. Okay, so I have to be specific and be focused so that everyone will get the benefits. And then this is actually, I hope that you at this moment, you are all right, okay, satisfied, good, doing great, passionate, and madly in love with law. Because why? Because in order to become legalpreneurs, you need to involve in this kind of mooting competition, because it will sharpen your legal skills, legal talents, because you want to be a legalpreneurs, right? And then of course I share a bit about my experience, my humble experience. I did join international mooting competition when I was a law student in IIUM, International Islamic University of Malaysia. So it of course I have to read a lot. And then so many authorities, treaties, statutes, all that, the textbook, secondary sources, journals, or what's not. So you have to bear with that. So you have to madly love in law. And then of course I don't want you to have in 8 and the rest category, right? Because you are madly in love in law, you are doing great. This is the process of becoming a legalpreneurs, great legal minds. Now coming back to our important discussion is about international humanitarian law, moot competition. And of course you have to recall our vision and purpose, yeah, to make this world a better place for everyone. And the purpose is to to contribute to international law education. That's why we have this mooting competition, to give awareness, legal awareness to the public, since you have YouTube, right? You record these slots, right? And it will be useful for any law students who wish to be like you, to join in mooting competition. This one, it gives you many skills. Not only mooting, my dear all. It's about teamwork. It's about empathy. It's about time management. It's about uh, reading techniques, writing skills, all in, right? Because in legal premier business, we have to work in team. We have to work with partners, right? We cannot work alone in isolation. So this is what one of the activities that I really encourage my law student. Doesn't matter from UniSZA, UKM, because I my students, they are all over all faculty of law in Malaysia. They are like in UITM, UKM, UniSZA, right? So like Angelica is actually one of my students, right? So of course, we need to promote, to enhance, foster mutual understanding, and to promote social responsibility of the students about international law. International is very important. For example, we follow the current news, like our Malaysians have been returned to Malaysia from Sudan, right? Because of the crisis in Sudan. So that's involved public international law, right? It affects peace and harmony, right? So that's why when we learn about public international law, it broaden our horizons. It broaden our horizons. We become more sharp. Yeah. All right. But of course, always be tactful and be humble. All right. So this is the whole process of understanding law, because I'm teaching legal research in UITM. So all this, like it has within one semester. Okay. And of course, this one is we have like from foundation level up to the degree level, that including postgraduate level. Now this one, actually I one of my um, yes, one of my topics is actually understanding case law. And of course, you actually, when you do the legal submission, when you want to do submission, you have to, of course, read the cases. Read the authorities may come from the primary sources, as you know, right? Primary sources may come from the statutes, from the legislations, and of course, cases from unwritten law. So when we talk about case law, of course, number one is actually you must understand the material fact. Even in 27 pages, all you have to read you have to what really happened in this order. Okay, what really happened? Okay, what happened? So of course, it's concerning hypersonic nuclear missiles between these two republics. Okay, one republic of this and these United Provinces of Rosanna. So you have to start from paragraph 1, identify the material fact until the last paragraph, until the last page. Don't ever leave unattended, right? Being a lawyer, you have to be meticulous. Very pay attention to the little, small details, small in details. Okay, so read and read. When you, there's a techniques actually. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. So you have to have a mutual cooperation between your team members. How many team members? You know, you already set up. You have your own team members, right? So, and of course, after that, once you understand the material facts, number 2, you have to derive legal issues. Yeah, legal issues. And after that, sources of law. Okay, sources of law is very important. What are the sources of law in the public international law in respect to the hypersonic nuclear missiles? Okay. Now, because I'm talking about legal research, I cannot get away with not talking about this. I have to. This is a very basic, because some of you actually come from year 1, right? So you have no idea, because I have to take into account there are some of you who have no very little background about public international law. So it doesn't matter what kind of the areas of law, you have to start from the basic stages. Basic stage is actually whatever problem comes to you. For example, you have this 2023 Moots problem, right? So you have to understand, read how to read. There's a techniques that I will be sharing to you later on. after you understand the material facts, number 2, there's legal issues, and you have to narrow down to how many legal issues involved, and after that try to get the relevant sources of law and how to argue them, how to apply. So that's what legal research is all about. You have to get the raw materials from the research that you have embarked. But how you can afford to get the material if you don't know how to conduct legal research, right? Legal research is a very unique way because we are from social sciences regimes, but we have our own way to retrieve to conduct legal research, and this is what really important when it comes to the areas of law is a public international law, right? So far so good. Are you with me? Have I made myself clear?
Yes.
All right. So this is actually a pattern. Okay, I want to take important keywords here. Pattern. If you can see, it's very texty, right? Too wordy. This Moot's problem. So how you want to make it clearer, more clarity? So you need to, of course, all this I already mentioned that earlier. Okay, you have to do the fact collection. Fact collection. You collect all the relevant facts in this Moot problem. What is actually the relevant facts? Keywords. The important and repetitious words which are important in this dispute. All right. And then number 2, you have to use of 5W and 1H. What is 5W? As you know, can put in the chat. You know it already, even from the secondary school. Who, why, where, what, when, and how. You must find the answer for this 5W and 1H. Always have a focus point. What is this dispute all about? And whom you are representing, your clients. You are which side? Okay? And then once you have gathered all the necessary facts from the information, and then you re-examine again your facts, make sure that no misunderstanding. You have to read not one time at a glance. No, we have to be meticulous. First reading, second reading, third reading, fourth reading, fifth reading, endlessly until you have already absorbed in your heart that this is actually what this dispute is all about. Because you have to do submissions, right? Written submissions, and of course online oral submissions, right? So, and then if you are of the view that your fact is not enough, of course use again 5W1H re-facts collection until you are already absorbed. Oh, this actually, that's it, I have to stop. Okay, so you need to have a timeline. You need to have a proper deadline for this stage 1 of fact collection. All right, use this is very practical. I'm just throwing you guys a road, right? You have to catch the fish. Okay, I'm not like giving you the fish. I train you on how to catch fish. So this is what workshop is all about. If you want the answer from now, it defeats the purpose of having this workshop. Because after this workshop, you can use this invaluable knowledge. It's not information. This is an invaluable knowledge, right? In the Shawwal, 7 Shawwal, right? For you to do prepare your legal research on this mooting competition, and of course for other subjects, areas of law that need legal research. This number 1, fact collection. And of course, when I mentioned about, I put it here, not the case law, but you can change it to, yes, this one again. And then you have to merge. Material fact, you look into this Moot problem. All right. And then, okay, how to make it more interesting? There's a technique for you to convert. Once you highlight the important material facts, and you have to put it in one of the another approach. I'm going to give you the approach later on. And this material fact will trigger legal issues. And then along the way, you have to skim, scan, and identify keywords. And try to, after you identify the keywords, get the relevant sources of law, the literature, the literature, the legal sources, right? And after that, you have to read that literature, match with the material fact. You have to apply it to make into your arguments based on the authority which are in your favors, right? Okay, make sure that you get the right sources of law. Okay, so I'm going to share it with you after this. Yeah. So again, when the second step after the number one, fact collection. Number two is factual. And you have to analyze from the fact collection. We have to analyze your facts. That's we call it factual analysis. Yeah. So there are three methods that I could share with you at this moment. Number one is brainstorming. A group of people like you guys, you have your team members, you have to sit down together and discuss, giving ideas and opinions on the subject matters. Okay, really have to focus on this moot problem. What is all about? What is all about? Okay, the dispute. Understand what's actually the problem? What is the issue? The issue is inside the problem. We have to identify the issues inside the problem. Okay, the legal issues. Number two, besides brainstorming, we have to do mind mapping. You can do mind mapping. This is one of the options you can do. Maybe you prefer brainstorming. I think more relaxed. We just list, we just brainstorm, and after that we don't care whether it's important or not. We just list based on our understanding, and after that you look again. Yeah, you revisit. Huh? Number two, mind mapping. Mind mapping is a kind of diagram constructed based on the central theme or main ideas of the fact. Mind mapping. I love mind mapping. There's you can Google Tony Buzan mind mapping. It's very good. It's really practical even until now. Yeah. Okay. Number three, WAS system. WAS system is a system that use the collected fact. Collected fact means that you get from this. Okay. You highlight the important because it involve demands, their actions, the damage has been done in terms of hypersonic nuclear missiles, right? So what you could do to overcome this crisis from the law, from the public international law perspective, right? And then and then after that you categorize into subtopic. You're the one who determine the subtopic, not the organizer, not the speaker myself, but you. You have to present it to us, to the juries, right? Okay. So it's up to you. You may Google, you may check. There are many YouTube out there can explain further about brainstorming or mind mapping or WAS system. I just throwing you an ideas so that you know, oh, this is what we have to do. So you ask your team members, what do you have to choose? Either one or more combination. It's up to you. Yeah. So because why? Because we have to get that facts, important fact, and we have to analyze the facts. Yeah. So now again, when we talk about the nuclear, right? Of course, it's there's one big issue, nuclear, right? And then that's a cause of action. It's about even the topic has already give you an idea. Even you haven't finished reading it yet. Okay. It's about the I only have half an hour. Okay. International law Moot competition. 27 pages. Yeah. Please read this. Moot problem. From this problem, you have to retrieve the legal issues. Huh? Yes, hypersonic nuclear missiles. Okay. So between this International Court of Justice. Okay. And then you check the jurisdiction of these two countries. Go and get this article. Okay. Read these articles. And then okay, what happened to them? What are their agreement, their treaties, yeah, customary law, all that relating to the nuclear missiles. Huh? So again, That's course of action. And then special fact. Is there any special facts in these 27 pages, right, of the Moot's problem? And then what are the defenses from each? Of course, they have defense. They have defenses, right? So you have to highlight them as well. Okay. Threshold issue, any miscellaneous, and relief. Yeah. Okay. Now, another things that I wanted to highlight here is actually because Moot problem is 27 pages. Like we are like overwhelmed. Halfway, we already like drowning to sleep, right? We cannot afford to waste more time because we have another important task. You have to draw a timeline. This is actually one of the examples for you to have more clarity. Rule of thumb is more clarity, right? When you present, you need to have more clarity, less texty, less wordy. Okay, so you have to like filter. So filter, highlight the important facts, try to relate based on the 5W1H, and then draw a timeline for material facts. From the material fact, try to discover the legal issue, because from the material fact, it will trigger legal issues. So far, are you with me? Any question? Am I too fast? I only have 33 minutes. Are you with me? Is it all right?
Yes, doctor, we are all right.
Understand? Oh, okay. Good, awesome. All right. Please draw a timeline, because they have a dates, right? Every date is give you some indicators. Every date must have some indicators. Date, like this, they have signed agreement. Okay, statements of agreed facts on February 10, 2023. What happened after that or before it, right? So you look again. It's 27 pages, right? I just skim and read at a glance. Huh? So this you put the dates, and after that, what happened on that date, and then what is actually the legal issue that you may identify. Okay, this is very important. Please do it, yeah, for each team. Huh? Next is another example of material fact. For the multi, you can have this. You can put in a submission. All right, we love illustrations lah, yeah. We love illustration in the forms of diagrams, right? We are no more rely on black letters, right? So we need to have more clarity in the form of illustration and diagram. So please draw a timeline for the material facts for these 27 pages of Moot problem. All right. Okay, that's number one. Next, okay, how to conduct legal research. That's actually the techniques. Okay, how to conduct legal research. Number one, you have to skim and scan all these 27 pages. All this. You're like eating a biscuit, right? Raya biscuit kan? Biskut raya kan? Where's my biskut raya? Over there. Kan? With coffee. So you need to, what happened? It's not like a song like beautiful words, but you don't have to think about it. This one you have to think. It's very long. You have to do legal research. Oh my God, what I'm here. Please tell me, right? Now, because you want to become legal entrepreneurs, you have to take, no matter what, by hook or by crook. Right? You're the one who chose to be here, right? And of course, once you acquire it, it doesn't matter what kind of the areas of law, be it, you can overcome it, right? So always be meticulous, be patient and passionate. Okay. So now, okay, all this, I go again to my diagram. Skim and scan is very important, number one. Number two, focus on key terms and concept. It will give you some ideas, and after that, you may find some similarities in that authorities that you find in this Moot problem. Then you can relate. It will help you. That's what we call it. Legal research is all about. So let's focus on the key terms and concept. So you need to have a clearer mind, focus, more clarity. This is very important. Focus on key terms and concept in this Moot problem. And of course, take note. You have to take note. I know I have my iPad. I use my notability. It's up to you. If you like IT savvy or you are like old traditional person, you like to use pen, you know, I'm also use this. For me, I'm Fuse. I'm using iPad, Notability, and of course, I'm using this to take notes, right? Because I need to reaffirm myself. I have to understand the situation myself when it comes to the mode problem, because I have to present. I have to present. Because you have your clients, and of course, when you represent your client, you have to understand your client's problem, and you have to identify legal issues and find the relevant authorities to support the arguments, right? Okay. And number 4, use search tools. Search tools. Search tool is very important. Okay. What is actually search tool that we are talking about? Hold on. Okay. Yeah, if you are on online database, search tool, we have online database. Yeah, I think UniSZA, you have subscribed online database, isn't it? Right? Lexis Advance, in online. Okay. So use search tool to quickly find the most relevant information. This may include advanced search features. You learn how to. There are tutorial on how to use advanced search features, filters, and search operators. Use that in relating to our Moot problem of hypersonic nuclear disputes, right? Okay, use that. So we are here. Search tool, it could be online resources and online database and resources. Use that. You have to use search tool to quickly find the most relevant information. Have that skill. Boolean, B-O-O-L-E-N, Boolean. Okay, Boolean. Okay, Boolean search. Okay, okay. So next, do you aware of that? Boolean, B-O-O-L-E-A-N, B-O-O-L-E-A-N. I think you just jot down first, and after that, when you go to Lexis Advanced, try to search in YouTube, maybe share with you on how to use Boolean operators. Okay, that's another search, one of the important search tools. And that number 6, use summary. Summaries and abstracts. Summaries and abstract. When you get the articles, read the abstract, scan the abstract, whether that article is relevant to you or not. If it's not relevant, don't read that article, because being we call that, we have to be smart. Being a very good researcher, we have to be smart. We have to filter not important articles or materials, right? So when you read the abstract, you already downloaded it, read the abstract, scanning, yeah. If it's useful to your research, and of course use summaries as well, get it, okay, download it, and then you can read that article info. That's how we do things, right? We don't simply download everything and we read everything. No. Sometimes when we download, there are certain articles that which are not important, but we overlook, right? We think it's relevant because of the title. But when we downloaded it, and then we read it, and then we discover that it's not really that help us so much. So we don't want. So please use summaries and abstract and read the findings, whether it's really whether it's relevant or not to our context in this Moot problem, right? And then the number 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are in 6. Use a structured approach as outlined. It will help you organize and focus your effort on the most relevant information. Okay. So next, and all this is a long process, my dear. Remember to take break, because we don't want to be overwhelmed. I know this very long, tiring, and we are going to be dusty. You know, we are like overwhelmed. So we don't want that. Because I don't want you to burn out. As I mentioned to you, you already feel like, oh, so many work to do. I'm going to quit now. No, I don't want you to have this burnout and decrease productivity. Remember to take breaks along the way and pace yourself as you go through these are the research process that you have to undergo. All right. So far, are you with me? Any question? Any question?
There is one question in the chat box. Do you want to answer now
I
or wait?
think maybe okay, you just collect the Q&A. After that, let me finish my presentation. After that, I will go through the Q&A, right? Okay, meanwhile, the audience may write the question in the chat box, in the chat, right? So I will refer to it. Okay, you just compile and just remind me again. Because I cannot see the chat because I just only see my slides. Is it all right with you guys? With you all?
Yeah, sure, Ate.
All right, good. Now next, when I mentioned about this, how to conduct legal research, another question is how to do legal research effectively. Yeah, how to do legal research effectively, right? So, this actually, yeah, of course, you need to, yeah, for this actually, yes, this one. Number one, develop a research plan. Develop a research plan. How to do legal research effectively is actually you have to develop a research plan. Because I couldn't be able to prepare my slide because I was being given like 6 days until now by the organizer. So I couldn't be able to. I could only do my homework. Yeah. In the morning before I started going visiting my relatives. Right. Okay. So this is actually what you really have to do. Develop a research plan. Yeah, outline the key issues, research question, and sources of law that you will need to explore. This will help you to stay focused and avoid getting sidetracked by irrelevant information. So develop a research plan is very important. Yeah, research plan. Number two, use the right tools as I mentioned to you. Online database, number one. Number two, search engines. Number three, citation managers. And number four, note-taking software. And number three, always be consistent and stay focused. Stay organized. Organized is very important because I don't want you to be overwhelmed since Moot's problem really give you like 27 pages, right? So you have to draw a timeline, okay? And then use tools like spreadsheet, folder, and note-taking software to keep track of your research notes, sources, and argument. And number four, use efficient search strategies I mentioned to you, Boolean operators, wildcat, and other advanced search to refine your search result. Number five, skim and scan. Always skim and scan because you have to read quickly the identify relevant information, focusing on the key terms and concept. Number six, use secondary sources. Okay, because we are doing public international law, so use secondary sources like law review, articles, treatises, textbook to get a broad overview of the law and key issues. So which save your time when searching for primary sources. And number seven, use shortcut. Okay, and of course, always remember to take breaks and pace yourself as you research, because taking short breaks can help you to stay focused and avoid burnout. Okay, because I don't want you to get overwhelmed by the amount of information that you need to process. Okay, so as you know that public international law, okay, is actually give you a framework. You know, it's a framework. Yeah, framework. It's a framework for the regulations of nuclear missiles. So public international is actually a legal framework to regulate in your contact nuclear missiles. So the legal regimes governing nuclear missile is primarily based on the treaties. So get the treaties. Number one, get the customary international law. Number two, and get the general principle of international law. Go and get that. Yeah. And then the most relevant treaty in this area is the treaty on the non-proliferations of nuclear weapons, NPT, which prohibit the acquisition, possession, and use of nuclear weapon by non-nuclear weapon states. So nuclear weapon states are also required to engage in negotiation, understanding and negotiation between these two disputing parties, these two disputing countries. So aim at achieving nuclear disarmament. Okay, so that's number one. NPT, non-proliferation of nuclear weapon. Number 2, CTBT, Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. Have you conducted legal research so far? Do you aware that I mentioned to you? And NPT and CTBT, do you know about it? Hello? Hello, are you with me?
Tante.
You're aware? You're aware?
Yeah.
Okay, good, awesome. Yeah. NPT, and then a non-proliferation of nuclear weapon. And number 2, comprehensive nuclear test ban treaty, CTBT, CTBT, yeah, which prohibits all nuclear explosions, including those for peaceful purposes. Okay. Although CTBT has not yet entered into force, but it's really good. It represents at least an important step towards achieving a world free of nuclear weapons, right? So we are here, we want to promote a world free of nuclear weapon. You must have this inspiration, okay? Because I think that this is very noble missions, right? Okay, so that's why we are very inspired, yeah, to do this moot competition. Yeah? I hope that you also be inspired as well. Yeah. And after that, do you aware of Treaty of Tlatelolco, which established a nuclear weapon free zone in Latin America and the Caribbean? Apart from it, beside treaties, please check. Please get this customary international law. Customary international law also play a very important role in nuclear missiles. For example, the principle of the prohibitions of the use of force, okay, as enshrined in the UN Charter, yeah, prohibits the use of nuclear weapons except in self-defense. Except we have exceptional, right? Because law we have general principle and we have exception to general principle. So we have if the country act in self-defense in response to an armed attack, that will be justified. Yeah. And finally, general principle of international law, beside treaties, beside NPT, CTBT, we have a public international law against nuclear missile is based on the combination of treaty law, okay, customary international law, and general principle of international law, which provide a comprehensive legal framework for the regulation of nuclear missiles. So try to merge them to find some pattern, okay, an indicator for us to support your arguments, all right? And next, of course, when another things, how to do research based on the mood problem. Another question posed by your friends, by your team, how to do the research based on the mood problem in nuclear missile in the public international law. And of course, hold on, this one, read and understand the mood problem. This we have 27 pages, read them, okay? What happened to these two disputing countries? And then number 2, identify relevant sources of law. And number 3, conduct legal research, okay? Start with the secondary sources first. I advise you to start with secondary sources, such as scholarly article you may get from Google Scholar, online database like Lexis Advanced, Hain Online, what else? Westlaw, yeah, to get an understanding of the legal issues and the relevant legal framework. And after you conduct legal research, must have a certain deadline. You have a time frame for it, and after that you go to the step 4, analyze and apply the law. So once you have identified the relevant legal provisions and precedent, analyze and apply them to the moot problem. And then number 5, develop your arguments based on your legal research and analysis. Develop your arguments and positions on the issue raised in the moot problem. Consider both legal and policy arguments and anticipate counter argument. This is very important. Yeah, don't overlook this. Anticipate counter arguments, because if you overlook this counter argument, it will weaken your arguments, right? And anticipate counter arguments that your opponents may raise. Always have what are actually my weakness from my side, what actually their strength. So this we call it counter arguments that your opponents may raise, right? So in terms of irregularities, in terms of technical flaws, for example, in the public international law, is there any gap? Is there any flaws? Is there any shortcomings? Is there any challenges, right? Okay. Is there any defenses? Okay, you have to raise that. That's we call it threshold issues. Anticipate counter arguments that your opponents may raise, and then support your argument. You have to polish your arguments with evidence from your legal research, as well as factual evidence from the moot problem to support your argument. All right. So next, I think what else that another thing that I would like to share with you is the importance of time management. Yes, time management is very important, my dear. Always have this time management to do your legal research, and then when you want to analyze and apply the law, and then when you want to develop your arguments, also need time for it. And then when you want to support argument, this you have to polish it until the competition day. All right. And then time management is very important. So again, another question posed to me, would it be fun if you could share your experience, what you have gone through as a legal researcher? Well, as for me, I always have everything. I always try my level best. I will discuss with my team, okay, because we work in team, right? I will discuss with my team. We will discover our strengths and what will be our strengths. So if he or she could do faster about it, so he or she could be assigned to that role. For example, like there are many authorities, so we divided the authorities among ourselves, and we give time frame for us to meet again to discuss and then to write notes, right? The other team, she's very good in writing her notes, so once we discuss, we elaborate that, we summarize verbally to her, and she will prepare notes, right? So we all will refer to that notes, but everyone must present during that discussion. All right. So again, beside that, for me it's very important, effort, hard work, sacrifice. But before that, the other thing is actually finding the right sources, understanding complex legal concept, and then time management. Okay. And then staying organized and critical thinking is very important. That's the things that I have to know. Critical thinking is very important. Yeah, very important to have this critical thinking, because it's like you are solving the adult problem. All right. Okay. So this is actually what of the this one, you check all this. Okay. The military installation at risk. Okay. All this you could do it. Okay. So any question? So what else? Yes, I think another important thing is actually okay, hold on. We call it beside critical thinking, we need to do the writing skill. Writing skill is very important. Beside legal research, please improve your writing skill. Yeah, writing skills involve, of course, it's a long process. It's how to write legal brief, memos, other document that effectively communicate complex legal complex legal concepts. So it's very important for us. We have a very important tool to help our writing skills, such as Quillboard, Grammarly, Academic Face Bank. I'm using them, when I want to write submission. So I think it's and then you need to have we call it strong writing skill. Okay. What else? To effectively convey your legal arguments and make a compelling case. So overall, I already have 10 minutes left. Legal research requires a combination of skills, including strong analytical, organizational, and critical thinking abilities, as well as in-depth understanding of legal principles and concepts. It can be challenging, but also highly rewarding when you are able to make a compelling legal argument and support it with strong evidence. Okay, so the slide is actually not for my slide. I give credit to one of the my friends, Miss Maizan. Okay, she has a law firm, so then we invited her to give us a talk to our camp, to our students, right? So this is one of the slide, and then the credit goes to her. So I think her slide is very useful, right? So it doesn't matter whatever we are doing, so we need to have efforts, hard works, working smart, sacrifice, like you sacrifice your shower. Same goes to me. I give my heart, my soul, my time to you, and of course prayers from your parents, from God, and of course doing good deeds and God mercy. Okay, and then other than that, let me share with you some resources that can be used to conduct legal research, international law. Some of most commonly used resources, like, okay, I put it here. This one. Okay, you may get this. Okay, number one, treaties and international agreements. Okay, you may get this. Okay, this can be found in the official gazettes of countries, official websites of international organizations, or online treaty databases like the United Nations Treaty Collections or the Treaty Database of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Netherlands. Number two, customary international law. Okay, and I'm sure you have that in details. Number three, case law. We have, please refer case law in international courts and tribunal issues, decisions that clarify and interpret international law. The decision of this court can be found on their official websites or on a commercial database like LexisNexis and Westlaw. Number four, scholarly articles and books. Yeah. So because these authorities, these sources can analyze and interpret international law, they can be found in academic journals, libraries, or online databases like JSTOR and Head-in Online. Okay, this one I already highlight for you guys for point number 3 and point number 4, JSTOR and Head-in Online. Okay, and then number 5, official government documents. Government publish official document that reflects their stand, their position on international law issues. So this include white papers, diplomatic notes, statement by government officials. So I want you to categorize, okay, like you do. Beside mind mapping, we can use West system. Okay, West system for this official government documents, for the fact collection, okay, and fact analysis. And then last but not least, don't forget NGO, non-governmental organizations. Believe me, they are often publish reports and other materials that analyze and advocate for changes in international law. Some of the most prominent NGOs in the field of international law include Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and the International Committee of the Red Cross. Yeah. Okay. I have 6 minutes left, so these are all. But don't make it so exhaustive. There are many more, but at least you can start somewhere from here. Okay, and after that, if you find other source of law, secondary sources that they give you another hint, or get and find this, read these primary sources, it will add more to your relevant authorities, right? Okay. Now next, what else? Okay, these are all treaties. Where you can find it? Yeah, online. You can snap this treaty. I think it's YouTube, right? You can watch again this recording. Yeah, it's in YouTube of ILSA UniSZA. Treaties. Number 1, treaties and international agreements. United Nations Treaty Collections, and then Treaty Database of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Netherlands. Number 2, Customary International Law, International Law Commission's website on the identification of customary international law. And then don't forget to read the Oxford reports on international law. And of course, please look again the legal dictionary and legal thesaurus. Okay. Number 3, case law. Please read cases from International Court of Justice, International Criminal Court, International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea, and number 4, scholarly articles and books. We have Hain Online, Gesto. Okay, I will highlight this for you. Hain Online, Gesto, and Oxford Academics. And number 5, second last, second last, we have official government documents, United Nations, European Union, non-government, and then the last but not least, non-governmental organization, NGO, like Amnesty International, okay, Human Rights Watch, and then international, okay, international committee, okay. We have International Committee of the Cross, of the Red Cross, okay. Are you with me? So far, so good?
Yes, Doctor.
Can you follow?
Yes.
Yes,
we can
Doctor.
follow.
Is it useful?
Yes, much.
That's a
useful.
lot. Yeah. Last but not least, I have 2 minutes left. Here are some additional points on top of what I give to you just now. I give additional points that you may find useful to know about nuclear missiles under international law, and always relate with your hypersonic. Always relate with the topic of this, Moot problem, hypersonic nuclear missiles. Okay, between these two disputing countries. Okay. Number 1, Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT. Not LNPT, bukan Lebuh Raya Pantai Timur ya. NPT. The Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapon is a good international agreement aimed at preventing the spread of nuclear weapons and promoting disarmament. Okay. It was signed here. Okay, you can read this history. I go to number 2, customary international law. Okay, it's also a very useful source of international law that is based on long-standing practices and customs among nations. Okay, so the prohibition of the use of nuclear. Okay, it is actually part of customary international law. Yeah, hypersonic nuclear missile is actually prohibition of this hypersonic nuclear missile is actually a part of the customary international law. Okay, number 3. Okay, make sure meaning that it apply to all state. It apply to all state, regardless of whether they have signed specific treaties or agreement or not. So take note on that. Number 3, International Court of Justice. You have to read cases in International Court of Justice, ICJ. Yeah, all right. It's the primary judicial organ of the United Nations, and don't forget the role of United Nations. Okay, and this ICJ has the authority to adjudicate dispute between nations, between disputing states. So these are the history. You may read this. Number 4, humanitarian consequences of nuclear weapon. In recent years, they has so please read this. ICAN stands for the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapon. Yeah, here we are here, right? So a coalition of non-governmental organizations has been advocating for the adoptions of a treaty to ban nuclear weapons. Okay, it was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 2017. So you read this, all this for, you have so many important works to be done, right? All this, I just throw it you, and let's get cracking after this, right? So these are few points to keep in mind when researching nuclear missiles under public international law, right? Remember, the goal of your mooting competition is to convey your research findings and your conclusion clearly and effectively. This is my conclusion, right? And focus on the key points of your research. Remember 5W1H, and remember to cite your sources correctly and accurately throughout your research. And this is last but not least, the role of the United Nations that I mentioned to you earlier. All right, so get the history of the United Nations. What are their role to address the issue of nuclear missiles? So the most important of this is the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, which is responsible for promoting the peaceful use of nuclear energy and verifying compliance with nuclear, we are here, nuclear non-proliferation obligations, okay? So you read this UN Security Council, okay, and they play very important role in combating nuclear missile under Chapter 7 of the UN Charter. All right, go and get this, read that, download this, okay? And then what else? They have the proliferation of nuclear weapon and their deliveries. For example, they have in Resolution 1540 in 2004 authority, back in 2004, Resolution 1540 requires all states to prevent the proliferation of nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons, as well as their means of delivery to non-state actors. And then, okay, that's it. I think I rest my case already. 10:31. I think I have to stop now. I think you can do it, no problem. This is one of the important view in Switzerland. Okay. Okay, so we went there for Europe trip last year. So this is actually just share a bit with you, a humble side for myself. So this is actually when after I was called to the bar. Diterima masuk sebagai peguam bela dan peguam cara back in 2000, in the year of 2002, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 2002 or 2002, 2001 or 2002, 2001 or 2, something like that. It's more than 20 years ago. And then I ceased practicing after I joined UiTM and becoming a legal academia. No matter what, I think is a very important tool for peace and harmony, of course, to promote stability, right? Especially we are here against war, especially nuclear missile whatsoever, because we want to have a very peaceful life, and of course we want to promote peace and harmony. Remember, I mentioned to you earlier, it's about the mission of the public international law. All right, I think I mentioned here. Okay, I already finished my presentation for 1 hour. It's actually always recall this, yeah. Always recall this, that to promote our yes, to promote humanity, human dignity, and cultural diversity, and we want to foster social responsibility. So you and I, okay, we share the same mission, the same vision, the same purpose, that we are here not for the sake of completing Moot and what's next. No, you must have your heart and soul when you join this competition. Okay, I wish you all the best, and forgive me if for any shortcomings. And of course, you could bear with me because I'm still in Shelley. I have to check out after this, yeah, after my Q&A session with you. I cannot be able to sustain with you, even though I love to with you guys. But of course, I'm in Shelley. I have to check out. So it's a beautiful chalet in Kuala Terengganu, Batu Rakit, Sebang Takir, if I'm mistaken, near with the UniSZA, right? So I'm in the spirit of Terengganu, yeah, Kepuk Lekor, yeah, Market Colek, all that, yeah. So I think I can revert back to the Akmal, right, MC? Thank you, MC, and to organizing committee.
Participants, please give a round of applause to Dr. Farha. Thank you very much, Dr. Farha, for all the knowledge you have shared with us. I'm sure all the participants will find this knowledge to be useful for the upcoming mooting competition and in their legal studies. For now, let us move on to the Q&A session.
Yes. Thank God. I'm very honored. Yeah, sure.
Before that, anyone have question?
Do you understand? Actually, I'm too fast. I'm so sorry because I was being given 1 hour. Actually, this workshop for my topic could be like 3 to 4 hours, and then we need to have hands-on. all right, to share the online all that. But I was given, I could only share with you the theoretical base, and that's only an overview and suffice, right? But you could do better, right? I'm just giving you a general overview. Please watch again this when you upload in your ILSA UniSZA YouTube, right? This recording, right? So it could be useful to this Moot competition this year and next following year. So I will get the pahala, yeah. And of course, I give the credit to my late parents. Okay, thank you. So ilmu yang bermanfaat. So that's why when we become a law students, we could do wonders. Any areas of law doesn't matter. I remember I did one private international law, but not public international law when I was practicing in my law in one of the law firm that I meant that Mr. Akmal already mentioned to you just now, right? Is when our client will like to do construction projects, condominium projects in Tehran, Iran. So I was preparing the legal documentations, legal opinions, right? Meeting the clients, all that. So that's a private international law, yeah. So it doesn't matter as long as you acquire any legal basic and very proper legal research, any areas of law you could grab. Okay, you could acquire. But of course, patient and passionate. Sabar dan minat. Passion and passionate. Alright. So any question? Ada soalan?
Doctor.
Yes.
Hello. Can I ask, how can someone be effective?
Yes.
How can someone be effective in corporate legal authority into their oral argument during book club competition?
How to become how to give a convincing legal arguments when you do over submission.
Yes.
Isn't it? Oh, for in a mooting competition, isn't it? Is it in the mooting competition or in the litigation?
During the competition.
I see. May I know could you introduce yourself first? What's your name? Is it Irfan? Siapa?
Yes. Yeah, my name is Irfan.
Irfan. Irfan. Because my internet connection, I had Wi-Fi in the chalet, but maybe of the delay kan. Your voice first and then your picture. All right, never mind. So thank you for your question, Irfan. Oh, that's good. I think you are very inspired, yeah, to give a very convincing argument during your Moot advocacy competition. Well, I think the most important thing is when we want to talk, we need to have a data. Faham tak? Kita kena ada fakta. If we don't have facts, we need to have substance. The more it's based from your legal research. How good you are in your legal research could determine your persuasive argument. I repeat, how good is when you conduct your legal research, you are very good. You already followed the step that I already shared with you just now. You already look all the relevant sources. You already drawn a timeline, diagram, illustration. You have put yourself clarity is the key words. Then you are confident to deliver your argument effortlessly. You got it? It doesn't matter. Let's say you want to appear before Yang Arif, before High Court or Court of Appeal. I myself, I did appear before court, before the judges when I was practicing. I was calm. Of course, when there are some of us that they have anxiety, I understand that, but you may seek treatment or maybe there are some healing process along the way, right? But nevertheless, if I'm prepared, how could I went wrong? Right, and of course, we with doa for Muslim, right? We always think that we have to be very humble when we do the submission. When we want to, this my interesting part. Yeah, when we want to do submission, we need to have a good intention. We are here not to impress the judges. We are here not to look down on the other opponent. No, we are here to please God, to please Allah. All right, because we want to get God mercy, right? So we are here not to please anyone or everyone, including the juries, but we are well prepared and we are here with good intention to share the same mission to promote humanity, lillahi ta'ala, to please Allah. Inshallah, you will do well. All right, these are my secret. I just share with you. When I present, I never want to make myself arrogant. You know, we love meeting someone. He or she is really very knowledgeable, but yet humble, right? So same like you guys, we have to be tactful. When you do your presentation, don't sound arrogant, even though you have conduct legal research. And your voice, your tone of your voice, you have high tone and low tone. You have don't be monotonous. Don't be monotonous. Like, oh, or you just read. Don't read. Don't read your argument. You don't read your submission. You have like talking, right? Yeah, like I talk to you, you talk to me, you know. So that's more. We have feelings, right? Because we are not dealing with AI. We are talking with human beings. They have feelings. So you have to look he or she, the jury's body language, whether she's already alert or not. Then we start talking. Don't be too fast. Don't be too slow because you have time allocation, right? And make sure clarity is very important. That's why when you do your legal research, always have clarity with timeline, illustration, mind map, diagram. All this will help you. All right. So if your research is all texty words, you tend to read. And then what's more worse if you don't understand, right? So avoid last minute work. We pass the button to your friend. You buatlah kerja aku baca je. You don't understand. You don't feel. You don't have the heart and soul, right? So number 2 is actually heart and soul. First, a good intention to impress Allah. Number 2 is, of course, you conduct legal research, assuming you already conduct legal research. And number 2 is heart and soul. When you present as if that you are representing your client. This is actually 5 million project. You are saving people's life. Bayangkan kita menyelamatkan nyawa orang dengan kata-kata kita. Kalau kita rasa bersemangat, you know. Imagine that our words could help 100 life or even more, a nations, right? So God give us the talent, kan? So we utilize it for the benefit of other human mankind. That's really, really what we call that, really good, right? Okay, we feel like so satisfied. Okay, boleh? Are you awesome? So don't get worried. And number three, watch the recording mooting competition to have a feel. Watch. Just you you may take note. Oh, this I should follow like this style. You have your own style, but it's no harm if you want to follow the speaker style. If he present that you think that I could decode her, why not? Then and then always smile, pause, smile, and then the power of listening. Another submission is not all students are aware. They feel like the more I talk, the more I could win. No. I mentioned to you, observe the body language from your opponent, number 1. Number 2 is be tactful. Don't be arrogant, be humble. Number 3 is the power of listening. It's also a communication. Listen. Your opponent wanted to say to you. Study their arguments. You know, SWOT, SWOT, check their strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. I always do that when I practice, even until now. SWOT, SWOT. I did mention to you just now. SWOT. You put number 4, use for and then SWOT. List categories. Oh, these under their weakness, their strength, their weakness, their opportunity, their threat. Their threat could be our opportunity. Their opportunity could be our threat in terms of their arguments. All right? So all the best, you know. Okay, yeah, remember, a good intention, buat kerana Allah, dapat pahala dapat, skill pun dapat, networking pun dapat, 3 in 1. Tapi kalau kita buat ni, alah terpaksa, alah lecturer suruh, tak ada pilihan lah, you being dragged, and you are not being enthusiastic, inspired, right? So you are at the losing person because you don't grab this opportunity. Opportunity will never come twice. But history repeats. Yes, history repeats. The damage has been done, but opportunity will not come twice. So utilize, grab all in your experience during campus life. Join mooting, join public speaking competition, join client counseling, join as many as you could, like I did when I was during my law degree students. I involved so many activities, but yet, remember, my dear all, study comes first. Study comes first, no matter what. Study must be your number one. This is actually one of your added value. We call it soft skill. Beside achievement in your of your CGPA, we want that as well. Both, we need all this, right? And of course, not forgetting, be humble, always contribute as in personal. We really like a good servant of God. We serve and respect our parents, right? We love our siblings, right? So take care of your words. We are kind person. Only kind person can make law, and because we need to help people who are being victimized by these culprits, right? Okay. So like this nuclear, okay, missiles. Okay. So any question? Do you understand with that? I share you a very basic lah. It take a long process. If you are nervous, you kena practice before mirror. Saya practice depan cermin tau. Saya nak bercakap seminit, saya berjam lama saya cakap. I kill person with 3 minutes of our presentation. The first, if we could kill our people with the first 3 minutes of our presentation, after that it's like effortlessly. People could, because we already have their we call that good impression. Smile, check, you always be early, always prepared, stay calm no matter what, stay focused, and you love presentation, you love submission. It doesn't matter whether you are introvert. I'm ambivert, introvert and extrovert. I can do both. Sometimes we like to be alone, right? Sometimes we have to like mingle with people, right? Okay. So itulah. Can you understand? I think some from the international student that I spotted here, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think from Indonesia, what's from other country. Do you understand whatever we have shared? Is it helpful?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah. Okay, good, awesome. Any other question? Ada soalan?
Doctor, may I ask a question?
Sure. Can. No worries.
My name is Faris Akmal Rahman. I'm a second year of IR student. So I'm not a law student technically, but so this Moot thing is kind of brand new to me. I don't have any much knowledge about it, but I already knew about public and public international law. So the issue is there. So I have 2 questions. My first question is more direct question, is regarding about when doing our research, what are some of the common mistake on doing a research that commonly mistake by the participant, and how should we avoid it? And my second question is more towards the mood problem. So from my understanding, the mood problem already mentioned, you also mentioned about the customary international law, about there is a part where the Republic of Azura is only the party of the non-proliferation nuclear weapon treaty, and also the nuclear test ban treaty. So I want to incorporate customary international law in it. So what is the sources to get this customary international law, because if you talk about statute and legal authorities, you can find it in the Geneva Convention very straightforward. But when it comes to customary international law, it's a little bit harder to find the right sources. So my question first about that. And the second question is how to kind of like correlated the question, treaty already be there and into the customary international law for the memorial submission. Is it clear?
Okay. I think you have like, is it 3 questions? First is the mistake on
Yeah.
when you conduct legal research, right? Number 2,
Yeah.
customary. You have a different challenges to find customary international law, isn't it?
Yeah, the sources.
Okay.
And then the third one, how to incorporate that into a memorial.
Oh, okay. Okay, I will answer the first one. The tricks, how to conduct, we call it the, what are the mistakes? What are the mistakes? Mistakes actually, if we skip the basic stages, we are not meticulous. We left very important sources, we overlook, that will be the mistake. We are careless. We call it careless lah. Meticulous ni maknanya careless. Cuai. Kita tak follow step. Mana tak follow, tak habis lagi. Not finish collecting the data for 5W1H. We only skim and scan because that's the most easiest way. We don't read full. We don't get the all relevant sources. And then we do last minute. And then we tend to overlook. And that will be a gap or shortcomings in our submission, because whatever that we get from the legal research process is argument to be prepared for our submissions, right? So that's the mistakes lah. If you are careless, if we are we avoid to be careless, be meticulous, get the right sources. That's number 1. I think mistakes. Everyone could make mistakes, right? But we have to minimize the mistakes, because one, we do mistake and it will be, the other opponent is aware that they could use that as their opportunity to attack us, right? To attack our argument. So please avoid mistake. I hope that mistake is not in our dictionary. That's the last resort. Okay. Number 1 that you have to know is, as I mentioned to you, is the step, basic stages. Material fact, legal issue, get the right sources of law, and then prepare, analyze the data, and analyze the law, apply it. Application is very important. If you get the law, but you don't know how to apply, that's also a mistake. This 4 process. Understanding the material fact, identify the legal issues, find the authorities to get the law from the source of law, and then apply the law. And then number 5 is submissions, right? All this. But if you know, so the mistake may come from any of these 4 stages. So if you lack of care, or we call that reckless researcher, any of these 4 stages, get the material fact, you're not really full understanding, you are not into the material fact, you don't know how to, there are other legal issue, but you cannot be able to identify the whole legal issues, and you don't get the whole sources of law, you don't know how to apply. Any of this could be your mistake, and it will be more repercussions. It will affect your arguments. You have to finish, you have to prepare. Okay, there's another arguments. All these 5 steps involved when it comes to the mooting competition. And along the way, this involves teamwork, kerja berpasukan. Mistake also may come from your own partner, from your own teammate. We never know, right? Because not everyone is the same, like us. Like, I'm hardworking. Doesn't mean that my colleagues also hardworking. So you have to choose the right team members. A very big mistake is choosing not the right partner, right? Especially partner in life, as you know, right? But this actually, selections, partners, we call that team members find the right team members. If he or she, I don't say, I just mention it to you. It will cannot be from this team, right? You're very smart, very dedicated law student, also students, right? But if there are people out there, they are not lucky. They got not so good team member, and they end up not get full cooperation, and he or she be stressed out. She's the one being drilled, not the other. So as there's no balance of what we call that the concept of teamwork and cooperation is not there. There's no mutual understanding and even grudges and hard feelings. So we don't want that to happen, right? So we want to enjoy doing legal research and enjoy submission. All right, you got it. That's the first. I've answered the first question. The second question is about customer international law. It's very hard to get the sources. You may get, as I mentioned to you, the technique of the bulan. We call that, as I mentioned to you, I think international, customer international law. So try to keywords. I think it's in the online database, but you don't know how to get it, or you go to the website of that particular that have the customer international law, okay, of that country. Get that. It's there. Get that customer international. First, try to get from the website if you know. Number two, get from the. I think I have shared with you the. Hold on, I think where to. Jump. I did mention just now. You don't get it from here, customer international law. This one. Okay, let me share my screen first. Hold on, yeah. I can share my screen again, just to enlighten you, so that you are more clearer. Could I share my screen? Okay, so, yeah. Okay. So. Okay. Sekejap, share. Okay. Okay, this one. Point number 2. You please click this. I will give to you this. I give to the committee for this website. You click this. It will go through the. It will connect with the international law. I think so. It will take us. International Law Commission. Can you see what's on the screen? Is it International Law Commission?
We can see the document, but we cannot see the website.
Okay, I will share again because it's from pop another window. Hold on, Okay, I have to stop sharing now. Yeah. When I click this, I repeat, when I click this customary international law link, it gives I click here. I repeat, when I click this link of customer international law, and then I will share another window. Hold on. It will come up with this. Share. Okay. No, presenting. Okay, what's on the screen? Is it International Law Commission website?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, this one. You can see this final report, documentation, yearbook, other. You can read this. You can read this. Okay, I give a view. Okay, find the relevant. I'm talking about the nuclear. Okay, and then yearbook, if it has a yearbook, other publication. Sometimes it has other publication, work on what. And then they have a full text search. Okay, you made full text search. Okay, if you want to search for English, you search for English. What do you want to search? Exact any of the word or the exact phrase, like nuclear missile, for example, right? Okay, and then yeah, this one is international law customary international law. Okay, this one of the many that but I could share at this moment. So you have to search it more based on maybe when you from your reading, your extensive reading, they give you another sources of customary international law. All right, you got it? Boleh? Okay. Boleh baca yang ni apa setiap deadline dia apa dia kan. Boleh baca dah. Yang berkaitan dengan nukleus you kena pandai, you must know how to filter. Okay? Statute boleh tengok juga ada apa tak. Tengok English lah ya. Saya tak buka lah ya. Tengok research, ada tak research pasal nuklear? Cuba tengok specific document. Legislative history, penting juga history kan. Dan boleh tengoklah additional, boleh tengok juga apa boleh klik mana tahu dia ada berkenaan dengan topik. Please click, no harm in getting nowhere, but because we are searching, right? Okay, if it's there, that's good, right? So what else? This actually international commercial law that I mentioned to you. When I click from here, what's on the screen? Is it this list?
Yeah, Doctor.
Yeah. Okay. Number 3. Okay, read again. Number three, how to incorporate that memorial. Memorial, as I mentioned to you, it will be because my time is already until 11. And then how to incorporate this memorial, you have to refer to the second slot. There will be another speaker that will share with you memorial submission. I'm only as the first speaker, I will talking about how to conduct legal research. As for your third question, how to incorporate that memorial, it will be dealt by the second speaker. Right after my slot, my slot is gone. Finished already, 11:02 a.m. So time constraint for me to share about this. Understand? You can ask further from other speaker next after mine. Boleh? Sorry for the background because we are one family in the chalet. So I'm being with my family, my children. So we are in the midst of packing before we check out before 12 today. Okay, I'm in the chalet in Kuala Terengganu. All right. Okay. Any question? But I'm really grateful because I have a very strong internet connection. We have Wi-Fi here, and thank God, I really like so blessed I could be able to meet you guys and share this important knowledge about how to conduct legal research in the public international law to do your moot problem. Do you understand? Any question? Last question, please. Ada soalan lagi? It comes towards the end. Okay ke? So don't worry, Faris. Kalau nak incorporate tu tak faham, tak clear, tak apa. It's just a beginning. Everything must have a beginning, kan? Setiap yang kita berlaku ni mesti ada permulaan, kan? So boleh refer to the second speaker. We have workshop until noon, and if I'm mistaken, after my slot, we have another slot, right? The second submission. Because I was given a slot on how to conduct legal research. As for the memo submission, will be dealt by the second speaker. So I'm the first speaker. Okay, you got it? Ada soalan? Okay ke you all?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, got it. All right. My coffee is cold. I'm making coffee. I'm ready. Cold already. All right, because I'm focusing on you guys. So focus is very important. All right. So don't worry, I will share this with you. Another thing is that I want to see in the chat box. Okay, last I give you. Do you want to know? But this one very brief. Don't worry.
Can, Doctor.
Yeah. Okay, I want to know, can you put in the chat, did any one of you a very brief survey? You put in the chat, yes or no only. Have you ever tried GPT? Put in the chat. Yes or no? That's it. Chat GPT, have you tried it? Yes or no? Dah try ke chat GPT? Yes or no? Cuba tengok mana tengok you punya ni ya. Chat. Dah tak jumpa chat. Berapa ramai yang dah try chat GPT? Dah ke? Dah. Ada yang tak tahu pasal chat GPT? Siapa yang tak pernah guna chat GPT? What are the pro and cons of using ChatGPT? Kenapa Ahmad Yusof senyum tu? Kenapa?
It can be good and worse thing for students, such as cheating and more.
Yeah, if you use it for illegal purpose like plagiarism, of course, it doesn't have to wait until ChatGPT. Copy paste is seasonal, right? You don't have to wait until ChatGPT. ChatGPT is good, but you have to use it wisely. You have to relate with your how to avoid plagiarism. Use ChatGPT in your Moot. Try to how in ChatGPT you have to know how to ask the right question. If you need to have another skill when you embrace ChatGPT. All right? But of course, again, based on your intention, not here to plagiarize. You have to relate with your context, number one, so that, and then use, when you relate, you will avoid from relying too much on ChatGPT. So that will be avoid. We want to rule out plagiarism. Use ChatGPT. Of course, they are AI, but the another weakness is actually ChatGPT is until September. The data is until September in the year of 2021. It's not the latest. So what about the latest? You have to, of course, refer to the online database, Google Scholar, that I give to you that link. That's how we merge things. That's how we work smart. We have to work in smart. Alright? Don't ChatGPT lah senang. Oh, boleh lah. No. ChatGPT is one of the sources. The main important sources is the sources that I shared to you just now during my session for 1 hour. You faham tak? Okay tak? ChatGPT untuk give you better understanding, but you have to know how to answer the right question, and you have to relate with your context of your mood problem. Boleh faham? Okay tak? And then you kena refine balik. You kena refine. Bukan copy paste. Sebab itu panggil plagiarism. Boleh faham? Kait relate dengan you punya konteks. Boleh ya? ChatGPT is good. Use it. But don't. You kena acknowledge. One of your references is ChatGPT. Kena buat. Kena declare. Oh tak apalah. Aku tak tahu. No. Excuse me. Alright. Dalam author pun dia buat dengan ChatGPT. ChatGPT is one of the co-author. Alright. AI je tapi jadi co-author sebab dia contribute. Acknowledge in the references tapi you relate with your contact. Use QuickBooks, use Grammarly, use Academic Face Bank, relate with your contact. So it will relate with your contact so you will rule out plagiarism. Don't do plagiarism, right? That's academic criminal offense. And we will we want to train ourselves to be honest, to have integrity in whatever we do, including mood competition. Boleh? Jadi orang yang ada integrity yang tinggi. Ada cik, ya aku guna cik tak apa, tapi aku kaitkan, aku baca source Allah, aku bukan rely totally ChatGPT. Aku double check. ChatGPT is not all correct. Ada juga yang mislead. Kena check sebab dia adalah AI. Data tu dia ambil, dia absorb je, dia tarik je, faham Kena double check, bukan ambil semua je. Kena check, double check. Oh ya ke, aku check dulu. Itu kita kena check. Be meticulous. Don't believe everything on what ChatGPT claim. Boleh ya? So dapat idea, boleh? To get an idea, okay? So that's it. Sorry, I'm with my children, so avoid the background, music background. Alright, biasalah raya ke-7 kan, Syawal lagi. Saya pun masih lagi bercuti until 1st of May. So I'm here for you guys. So I hope that you guys will get the fruitful discussion. All the best. Let me know the result. It doesn't matter who is the winner. Everyone is the winner when you involve a international mooting competition. Semua ada pemenang. Cuma you punya semangat, sikap, you punya skill kan, kemahiran, dan kita buat ni kerana Allah, dan tambah lagi nilai tambah kita dalam areas of law yang lain. Boleh faham Okay? Dan ada sikap, ada soft skill, pandai boleh betul ansur, negotiation, the power of negotiation, the power of networking, the power of teamwork. Okay? Respect, empathy, cooperation, right? All that. Okay. It doesn't purely submission. Dia ada banyak skill yang banyak. Kalau saya tulis ni tak habis kita. Okay? Dia banyak skill yang agak critical. Boleh kita nak jadi legalpreneur ke, kita nak ada career, kita perlukan skill yang macam ni. Boleh berinteraksi dengan orang, ada pandai networking, pandai social, communicate, confident, boleh present, boleh negotiate kan, boleh buat written submission, boleh pandai cari bahan, rujuk research, all that. That's very important skill. And you can do anything in the world. You can do anything and anybody that you want to be in this world, inshallah. But always be humble, be tactful, and for Muslim, be always with akhirat in mind. Okay, for Muslim, alright? And be humble, don't be arrogant. Always pay respect to the other opponent. Mana kita adalah professional, faham eh? And have integrity. Walaupun guna ChatGPT, ada integrity, double check. Dia kena relate. Bukan, oh madam kata boleh guna ChatGPT lah, kita boleh belajar. No, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Alright? Use it by all means, why not? Be it, right? Tapi utilize I'm also IT savvy. I memang kena kat sebab my students kan, I kena belajar juga sebab I have my students. I kena update juga. Right? Because I lagi lah kena update sebab takut student plagiarize. Faham eh? Kita ada software tool. Boleh faham eh? Remember, kita ada software tool, plagiarize tool, turn it in. Banyaklah plagiarize tool tu. Don't get me wrong, dia akan keluar balik. Kalau semua 100% ChatGPT, it defeat the purpose of our workshop in the first place, alright? So, okay, so ada yang tak guna, so boleh guna ChatGPT free je, selagi dia belum subscribe lah, subscription payment. Alright, I think that's all. I stop myself. I know you have another session. I wish you all the best. Selamat Hari Raya, Maazir Batin again. And please pray for my health, insyaAllah. Alhamdulillah, my mouth, getting better. Bersemangat dengan you all kan, semangat kan. You give me vibes, I give you vibes to you. Kita niat yang baik, Allah pemudahkan, Alhamdulillah. La hawla la quwwata illa billah. I'm very concerned because I'm worried because I cannot talk. The first thing is I cannot talk because mouth ulcer kan. So ada oral itu okay lah, minum air banyak kan, all that. So drink water. So kita ada stroke harbor, kena hati-hati. Jangan terlampau expose sangat. Banyak minum air, banyak ya. Okay, kena jaga diri, pesan pada keluarga kita. Boleh faham eh? So that's it. I wish I rest my case. All the best. But you haven't rest your case yet. Let's get cracking with your team members. Awesome. Good luck. Congratulations. Thank you so much. I pass it the button to the MC and organizing committee. So anything? That's it.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Farha, for answering the question. Okay, so before we end this segment, shall we take photos together? Okay, so all participants, if there is no issue, please turn on your camera.
Turn on lah, kasih Chan. Okay.
Technical team, be prepared to take photos.
Yes, tu. Ada Mubarakah. Where are you, Mubarakah? Hi, do you understand, Mubarakah? Hi, do you understand? Are you from international students, right?
Oh yeah, I'm an international student.
Where are you?
I'm in Terengganu right now. I'm home.
Oh, you're Terengganu. But are you your original? Where are you? Are you from Terengganu or what?
I'm from Nigeria.
Nigeria. I see. Okay. How you find about Terengganu? Do you love Terengganu?
Yes, good.
Can you catch it Ganu?
Boleh je. Yeah.
That's good. Wow, that's good. Awesome. So you understand what you have shared just now?
Yeah. Thank you for the knowledge that you shared.
Welcome. I hope it will be beneficial to you all. Okay, we take photo. Thank you. Then you count on Angelique. 1 to 2.
Chase.
So I'm gonna start with the formal one first. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay, so now the informal one. Just make the pose. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. All the best. Thank you. Awesome. I wish you all the best. I would like to seek humble apology for any shortcomings, and if my words are too like harsh, I'm so sorry. Saya mak saya batin ya, okay? So thank you guys. You have another session, right, with another speaker, right? So I excuse myself first, and then anything I will get back to Angelica. Okay, thank you. I want to share the photo and of course the recording. Okay, thank you. Bye. Assalamualaikum. Take care.
Take care too.
Welcome. Take care. Thank you.
Okay, so let us move on to the second segment of our workshop, which is regarding the memorial submission. So, Akmal is already here, right?
Yeah,
Hello,
I'm present.
Okay, Akmal, welcome to the workshop.
Hi, thank you so much for the invitation.
Okay, so before that, let me give you a brief introduction for our second speaker. So, our second speaker, Muhammad Akmal Amaluddin bin Ahmad Arif. We are honored to have him to share his knowledge today in drafting the memorial submission. So currently, Akmal is a final year law student in University of Malaya, and Mr. Akmal had participated in many mooting competitions, such as Law Asia International Moot Competition in 2020, Monroe E-Prize Media Law Moot Court Competition in 2021, and Philip C. Jessup International Law Moot Court Competition in 2022. He had also won many awards throughout his time joining the mooting competition. So, hello, Mr. Akmal. How are you today?
Hi, all good. It's a weekend, so I understand everyone's very tired.
Yes. So, let us not waste any more time. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Mr. Muhammad Akmal onto the stage. Okay, you can
Okay,
start now.
thank you so much.
Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Akmal. You can just call me Akmal. So, as introduced by the chairperson, I'm a final year UM Law student. I've done in my 4 years at UM Law around 7 mooting competitions, 2 of which deals with the ICJ, International Court of Justice. So I hope today's session will be fruitful in regarding how to draft a memorial for moot competitions before the ICJ and also based on the ILSA UniSZA moot competition itself. So yeah, I think we can proceed. So this will be the overview of what we're going to discuss today. I'll try to be concise. If you have any questions, you can ask after we've concluded the discussion. So there are 4 parts. The first is preliminary matters, setting up your base. Second is the planning stage in drafting. Third is the drafting itself. And fourth, your last stage is post-drafting, basically touching up, making things look nice, and then submitting your memorial. Next. So what is a memorial? So simply put, the memorial is whatever you're going to submit before the court. Your arguments in its entirety will be put in a written form. That document is known as the memorial. In some competitions, they call it written submissions, but for the purposes of mooting, memorial and written submissions are the same. You can use it interchangeably. So why is a memorial important? Next slide. So a good written memorial is half the battle, as one senior or several seniors in my faculty would say. So first and foremost, memorials, if they do well and are prepared well, allows you to score points. And these points are very important. In some competitions, it's not only your submission, your oral submission scores that matter. They also consider your memorial scores. And those memorial scores may be the determinative point on whether or not you progress onward to the next round. For example, if you score 100 over 100 for oral submissions. Your opponent also scores 100 over 100 for oral submissions. The judges will then turn to the memorial score and see who wins here. And whoever wins here, that team will move onwards. The loser does not move onward. So memorial score is very important in some competitions as it determines your progression. And also in most competitions, there is always an award for the best memorial or first runner-up and second runner-up, depending on the competition rules. So winning the best memorial award not only feels good, it's a flex you can say to your batchmates, your seniors, whoever out there in your interview, but also it's a validation of good writing skills. So you feel validated in the sense that this is evidence. You can draft legal documents. You can draft using legal but also straightforward language. And it shows your maturity in a way or not. And lastly, doing your memorial allows you to know and understand the law. I think Dr. Farha has already covered this part very extensively, but doing the memorial requires you to extensively research, not only to find sources of law and materials, but also to understand those sources of law and materials. So by the time you've completed your memorial, you would have a good grasp of the issues in your moot. And this is a good build-up when you start your oral trainings leading up to oral submissions. Next. Okay, the first one, preliminaries. You can move forward. So there are 4 things to consider when you prepare, before you prepare your drafting of your memorial or your planning stage. So go to the rules of your competition. For example, today we would be having the ILSA UniSZA 2023 International Law Moot Competition Official Rules. So check in the rules what are the requirements for formatting, such as document size, what type of font, is it Arial or Times New Roman, the size of your font, is it 11 or 12, the line spacing, is it 1.5, and also check if the same rules apply for footnotes or do they have separate formatting rules for footnotes, because in some competitions they do have separate rules and some competitions they do not. Structure-wise, usually it is provided in the competition rules. What are the requirements a memorial should have? For example, cover page, index of authorities, statement of facts, and so on and so forth. Generally speaking, you look at the structure the competition requires in the rules. That will be your opening. You wrote to what are you. Lastly, citation. Citation is very important because you want to cite your sources accurately and you want to make sure your citations are following the right format. So generally speaking, competition rules will specify which citation styles they want or prefer. And usually, if it's not spoken, if it's not mentioned or expressly stated, Oscola, which is the Oxford style of legal citation, is the most accepted one. Oscola 4th edition, you don't have to buy any book. It's available online. You just need to Google it, and there are various options, various UK universities who show you free sources on how to use Oscola. It is very helpful. So last one, we go to number 1, platform. I understand that some of you are more familiarized with Google Documents, Google Docs, and that's fine. You can draft your memorial using Google Docs, but I would recommend to use Microsoft Word 365. Because Microsoft Word 365, I believe it's more straightforward when it comes to formatting, footnotes, making your index of authorities. And I feel for me personally, it's much more stable when your document starts going into like the 40th page or the 30th page. So yeah, Microsoft Word 365 is the best. And also, when you make your drafting, before you make your drafting, you should consider, are you and your team going to draft together in one single online document? Or are you going to draft individual separate parts and then later on you compile it together? So I would recommend to draft individually, because my experience is that when you have five people typing at the same time in one online document, for some reason, the Microsoft Word just goes crazy. You have randomly your page moves like 5 pages onwards or 5 pages back. Or in the worst case scenario, you've typed like 6 paragraphs, and suddenly you find like, wait, where are the 6 paragraphs? They're gone. So yeah, draft individually and then you compile later. So that's a very important thing. You don't want to sacrifice like 1 day's worth of work because of a stupid Microsoft Word error. Okay, we can go forward. Okay, these are examples of rules and regulations. These are based on the 2033 ILSA UniSZA International Law Moot Court Competition. So in Rule 7.1, they already set out 8 sections, which are mandatory in your memorial, such as cover page, table of contents, and etc. So these are the 8 headings that you should have in your memorial, and you should not in any way forget it, because it can lead to penalties. So in memorial, when they have a mandatory requirement, such as these rules and regulations, and you accidentally deviate it, for example, you forget to put questions presented, that will probably lead to a deduction of points, penalties. The same goes for formatting. Here in Rule 7.2, is the general formatting in your content will be Arial. For footnotes, it will be Arial 10. The margins, 1 inch on all sides. Citation style or Scholar, endnotes are not allowed, only footnotes. So comply with all these rules and regulations, and you should be fine. But if you fail to comply, you will suffer a deduction of penalties. Next page. Okay, now we go to the planning part. Next. Oh, sorry, next. Okay. So there are 4 steps that you should consider. The first one is when you do your planning, you have to understand the mood problem. So there are 4 steps. The first step is to read the mood problem. Every mood problem has a long storyline. There's a timeline of events. Usually, sometimes there's even history of these 2 fictional countries. And usually it's very long-winded. So it's best to slowly read through paragraph by paragraph, and if necessary, line by line. But to ease your work, you can also consider making a chronology of all the important dates for quick reference, either in drafting or later on for your oral submissions. So the second step after reading the mood problem is to identify the legal issues. Usually, it is found at the end of the mood problem, at the last page of the storyline. They will say the applicant requests that court for the following so it submits to the court for the following questions of law. It's either 2 questions of law or 3 or 4 and so on. But it's all usually there. We will look at this later, but yeah, just go to the end of the mood problem. You will find the legal issues. It will basically outline what is the stance or request of each party. And from these legal issues, generally speaking, you can already see what are the areas of law they want you to discuss based on those legal issues. Now, step 3, crafting arguments. So I think this has been covered much by Dr. Farha, so we'll just try to make it brief. Research, research, research. You can make an argument, but it's going to be an empty argument if there's a lack of substantial, what's the word for it, justifications, and also supporting authorities. So always research, 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 and don't just apply the law. Also add the facts in the mood problem or the facts which you can logically imply. So these things combined will make strong arguments. And going to step 4 is to create a research note. This means keeping track of the statutes, cases, secondary sources that you're using, and you outline brief notes, like for example, this is the decision of the ICJ. For this area of law, it's the only decision, very important, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Those are important things that keeps you aware of these things. So number 3 and number 4 are not in one direction. Sometimes when you make a research note and then you realize something's wrong, you have to go back to step 3 and make a new argument or explore alternative arguments, and then you go back to step 4, and then it's on back and forth. It's totally fine. It's normal. It's up to you if you want to do this or you just want to stick to what you've created number 3. But generally speaking, when you're drafting memorials, you should explore every possible argument that can be supported by authorities. Next. Okay, this is identifying the legal issues. So we're using the Moot problem from the UniSZA International Law Moot Court competition. So at paragraph 46, there are two subparagraphs here, subparagraph A and subparagraph B. So subparagraph A and B, you can read this yourself, it's very long-winded, but you can sum up what they want. In subparagraph A, the question is whether Azura's military attacks were lawful. And subparagraph B, whether Roxana's use of hypersonic nuclear missile was lawful. For the applicant, they will want subparagraph A to be answered in the negative. No. Sorry, yes, it was lawful. Apologies, it was lawful. For subparagraph B, they will want it to also be answered in the affirmative. Yes. Next speech. Again, these are similar identifying legal issues. Is the next paragraph at paragraph 47, and this is from the perspective of the respondent. So respondent will want to have both of the legal issues answered in the negative. For example, they want to say that Azura's military attacks were not lawful, violated international law, whilst wait, not negative, sorry, it's negative and positive. So whilst the second sub-issue, they will say that their use of the hypersonic nuclear missile was lawful. Next. So this is where we consider the crafting of arguments. How do you craft arguments? So what you do is for moots before the International Court of Justice, you should look at the Article 38, paragraph 1, subparagraph D of the ICJ statute. So there are 4 sources of law which the court recognizes. The first is conventions, treaties such as Geneva Convention, ICCPR, and so on. Second is customary international law, such as the principles of self-defense, non-intervention. Third is the general principles of international law, such as the doctrine of good faith, estoppel. And lastly, it's judicial decisions and the teachings as subsidiary means. So this would be the decisions of international courts, domestic courts, books, articles, and anything else that is not in the above 3 before it. So secondly, the tip is to research. Maximize your databases that you have available, like Lexis, Hein Online, JSTOR, and so on. Be creative. You can find sources almost everywhere these days, and I would recommend to even consider social media pages such as the Twitter accounts of United Nations bodies. You will often find that they have updated reports that catalog latest decisions from various international courts and tribunals for very old issues, but it's latest up to date. So you'll never know if there are some changes in how the law is interpreted. And of course, efficiently use secondary sources such as textbooks, articles, even normal books, because these point you to where the law is. They show you what is the law, where is the law, and why is it relevant. Next. Now we go to the second stage is what, why, and how in the crafting of arguments. So usually speaking in the memorial, even in your oral submissions, there are 2 forms of arguments. One is procedural, one is substantive. So procedural looks at the procedure. For example, whether the court has jurisdiction, or in this case on the slide, whether the claims are admissible or inadmissible. So that's the what. So the why is Azura has come to this court with unclean hands. And how is where you insert the relevant law and facts from the Moot problem. The substantive part of your argument looks at the legal issues itself. For example, the what is Azura's military attacks against Roxana were lawful. The why is Azura was justified by the principle of self-defense. The how is where you bring in your research, inserting the relevant law and tying it with the facts from the Moot problem. Next. Oh, okay, sorry, this is a repetition of the previous slide. It's the same thing, but yeah, next. This is a sample research note. It's from JESEP 2021 to 2022. There's no fixed formatting. You can organize it any way you want, but this is how I did it. I did it based on grounds and based on the category of sources. So here you have applicant on left, respondent on right, and the sources which are favorable for applicant would be on the applicant side, whilst those for the respondent are on the respondent side. And I have the full name, the body or author, the relevant link or paragraph / paging, and then the key points. And depending if the source is particularly unique or there's an important point I want to remember, I would have a note at the bottom of the key points. Yeah, this is how it would look like. But yeah, you can organize your research note however you want. Just make sure it's easy for you to read, it's easy for you to locate, and it's easy for you to make references to when you draft your memorial. Next. Now we go to the drafting stage. Next. So there are some best practices in drafting, and what I list here, it's not the complete best practices. There's always going to be some issues that you'll realize that you should have done this or you should not have done that. So what you should do, assume that everyone who reads your memorial, even if they have degrees in law, international relations, they assume that everyone is ignorant. Because when you make your argument, your structure and flow, it's as if you are a teacher, a lecturer. You want to convey your arguments in a very clear, concise, and straightforward manner. That when they just glance at one page of your table of contents, they see your structure, they see your points, they immediately can pick up what you're trying to say. Quote from cases where necessary. I'll show this later in some sample of pleadings. Accurately apply the law and facts. This one is very important. So the implication of this is that you should read cases. And if you don't read cases, but you're citing a particular paragraph or page, go to that page or paragraph and see whether or not what you're saying in your memorial and what is said in court is correct. Because you don't want to have the wrong thing and you're citing a very famous case. For example, you say that okay, let's look at the principle of non-intervention. You say that the principle of non-intervention is not a customary part of international, it's not part of customary international law. And your source is the ICJ's decision in Nicaragua, Nicaragua v US. But the thing is, if you look at Nicaragua v US, the majority judgment, they say that it is part of customary international law. But in your memorial, you just said the opposite because it's possible either one, it was a typo, it was an unintentional error, or two, you didn't read the case. Instead, you rely on a case summary or someone's case notes. So either way, is it unintentional or intentional? The marker or the person who reads your memorial, they don't care. They will immediately put it as a red flag and say, this person has inaccurately applied the law, minus points. Or if it's the judge in the oral submissions and they detect this error, they will have a negative perception of you and they may use it to ask you questions and distract you from your main submission. So where possible, always accurately apply the law and facts. And of course, logically, accurately cite these sources. When you do your drafting, where possible, give a complete citation. Like, don't skimp on a citation. Don't just leave it blank in the footnote. Where possible, at the bare minimum, just add the URL link or add the link or signal or cue to the document that you're referring to. Because when you do your editing, your review later, if you don't have a source there and it's been like 3 weeks since you see that point, there's a high chance you'll never remember what you're talking about 3 weeks ago. So where possible, just immediately put it there. It'll be easy for you. Now, when you are doing your drafting, the keyword is drafting. So include all possible arguments. As long as there is an authority and you can see that is a factual basis or a legal basis, include it first. Whether or not it should be in your final memorial, that one you save for your edits later and your review later. So if you have 5 possible arguments, include it. But later on, if you want to make it down to 2 or 3, that's where you cut down during the review and editing phase. address counter arguments. I think Dr. Farah has said it this now, but yeah, it's good to address counter arguments as something you preempt. If you know your opponent's going to say that, for example, the use of the hypersonic nuclear missile is permitted in the international law, which they will probably say, then you have to immediately rebut it in your written submission. You should just preempt it directly and say, no, it's not permitted, and so on and so forth, depending, of course, on your research. And lastly, very important, always substantiate. Where possible, every sentence you draft should be substantiated. And when we say substantiated, it should have a footnote that points to a source of law or a source of fact. Because though it's not exactly the case in real life, in real practice, but in memorial, you want to show that you know what you're talking about. So if you say, for example, that sometimes things are logical, right? If someone drops a nuclear bomb over a city of 8 million people, confirm there's going to be people dying, right? There's going to be people who die. So if you say like, oh, for example, as a consequence of the nuclear attack, there is a loss of life, damage to property, and long-term health consequences, and you just put a full stop, you don't footnote anything there. No, you should have a footnote there, because that's even though it's a logical consequence, you should have a footnote and points to a source which substantiates that statement. Now, let's go to the red flags in drafting. Do not expect perfection. Drafting, the keyword is drafting. It's always a draft until you finalize it. So whether or not it's perfect, that's for the later part. Secondly, do not procrastinate. Just draft, just write, just type. The more you procrastinate, the more your workload is going to increase, and the more you're going to start to panic and lose your composure, and the more it attacks the quality of your work. And lastly, in your drafting stage, don't worry too much about word count, because words you can edit, you can make it more concise, you can summarize it in the reviewing and editing phase. Next. Okay, so this is what I mean, a clear structure of your arguments. So here is a sample structure from the Prize Media Memorial. It was in 2020 to 2021. So what you should do is you have a main ground. So here is the state's conviction of an individual violated her rights under the provisions of a treaty and then the treaty. That's your main ground. Then you have two main arguments. Main argument A, which is interfered with the freedom of expression, and in argument B, a violation of the treaty provision. So it depends on whether or not how extensive you want to go. But if you want to go extensive and be more thorough, under the main arguments, you should have supporting arguments. So for example, in front here, you have main argument B, and under main argument B, there are supporting arguments that go on two layers. There is layers 1, layers 1, 2, and 3, and sub layers A, B, and C, small letters. So each of this shows that you have a main point, you have a main argument, and then these are your supporting arguments. And at one glance, they will immediately understand what you're trying to say. Yeah. Next page. Introduction and structure. This is how you should do your memorial. So it really depends on how you want to structure it, but generally speaking, you should have a main ground. And in your content, the main ground is followed by introduction to relevant concepts and laws based on that ground. So if your issue is about, for example, in front here, torture, slavery, your first two paragraphs, or depending on you, if you can concise it to one paragraph, should introduce the relevant concepts, principles, and laws. So here, we look at what is torture, what is the definition of torture, and what happens to a torturer? Are they allies or friends or enemies of humanity? And then the second paragraph is about slavery. Slavery are those who enslave people, allies or enemies? What is the definition of slavery? And what is the international legal position on torture and slavery, for example, here? And then after you have introduced your relevant concepts and laws, then you go to the structure of argument. You give like a brief one paragraph outlining what you plan to say for that ground. So here, main ground 4, the structure for argument 4 is in the last paragraph below that. So it says, respondent submits the applicant has committed a fundamental breach of human rights because of 4 reasons. Cap A, B, C, and D. Yeah, this is how it would be. And then later on, you will make your own subheadings for each of A, B, and C. A, B, C, and D. If all good, then next page. So this is what I meant by titles, subheadings. So this is the memorial from KLBA. So you have your main ground, which is the one in all caps there. And then you have your main argument A below there. The federal constitution recognizes a constitutional right to abortion. That's your main argument. And then you create a subheading for your supporting arguments. So headings and subheadings are very important because you, again, in terms of clarity, people look and glance at your pages and they can immediately see what you're trying to say. These are like flaggings. These are like green flags that signal something. But later on, when we go to the editing phase, in Microsoft Word, if you are aware of how the formatting and how the software works, you can link all of these headings and subheadings and titles and generate your table of contents based on these things. So it's good to have all of your titles and subheadings cleared up, polished in your drafting and post-drafting stages. Okay, next page. Now, even more clarity. So if your particular argument revolves on a legal test or standard that has elements inside it. For example, in front here, it's about hate speech or advocacy that incites violence, speech which incites violence. So under international law, there are 6 factors that need to be proven before you can say that someone has committed hate speech or should be punished for committing hate speech. So you outline the conditions and elements, the requirements there, for example, the first layer, the first 2 layers, and then you move on to the second part, you flag. So rather than just blurting out whatever are the elements, whatever are the fulfillment of those elements, you flag. The flagging, for example, is firstly, content, secondly, status, thirdly, and so on, so forth. So always flag because you want people to be able to understand what you're trying to say and distinguish your flagging. For example, in front here, first is italicized. Yeah. Next page. Yeah, this is continued example of flagging. So you have second, status, third, extent, fourth, context. And in your memorial, you can make these different formatting styles, like you italicize your flagging and then you bold the main point that you want to talk about. It's totally fine. As long as it is standardized and does not look messy, it should be fine. People will not, the markers will not punish you for it. This is an example of flagging. See, you can clearly see the elements laid out. So status, what the status talk about, the elaboration based on the facts, and all of these are footnoted either to the moot problem or to a particular case or legal document. So yeah, this shows that every statement, where possible, should have a footnote. Even if it is a logical fact that you extracted from the moot problem and is already in the moot problem and it's established in the moot problem, you should footnote it and say paragraph, for example, paragraph 5, comma, moot problem. Yeah. Next. Now, since we've assuming that you've done your drafting, you've finished all your points, now we're going to the last stage, which is post-drafting. What do you do afterwards? Next. So the first one, expectations, stage 1. So visualize what you want to conceive at the end of your work. Look at the samples from your seniors or memorials that you see on online databases. In some competitions, they have an open access database which records the memorials from previous years. For example, Jessup. So if you want to see how a JASSET memorial looks like, you can just Google online the JASSET competition year, and usually they will attach URLs for the best memorial or first runner-up memorials for those years. Check competition rules. What are your requirements? What are your formattings? Does it require Arial, Times New Roman, so on? Pay attention to the penalties prescribed in the official rules. Generally speaking, the official rules will say how many points will be deducted if you forget a mandatory point. Usually it's 5%. So your requirement, your job here is to check all these things and establish what you need to do. And then also make a timeline of when should you finish your editing stage, because you want to be on time and you want to have spare time to do final last minute checks. Stage 2, you refine and clean up the draft that you've produced. So when it says refine and clean, it means that you go to the content, you make it more concise, clearer, more consistent, more coherent, more logical. If your argument is already concise, clear, consistent, and all these good things, do your best to try and make it more clear, concise, consistent, and so on. Because ultimately, you want to produce the most straightforward and logical and consistent argument. And that requires a lot of drafting, redrafting, back and forth. Edit your footnotes. Remember I mentioned earlier that where possible, complete your footnotes as you draft. This is where it will help, because if you have done your footnotes well, according to the right formatting, according to the right style, and make it accurate, it will save up time at this stage, because then you can proceed to other aspects of your memorial. And here you should also refer back to the do's and don'ts of drafting in part 2, what you should be focusing. If there's a particular sentence which needs a footnote or lacks a footnote, add it. This is where you add materials to your draft content. Or if you notice that a particular statement, a particular sentence is worded in a weird way, and you see that it can either be deleted, amended, or restructured, do it. This is where you should be doing these things. Next. Stage 3, proofreading. So you read through the